Hi guys, it's your girl Coco and welcome to my channel. So August is Breastfeeding Awareness Month, and because of that, I wanted to touch upon the topic of breastfeeding. Personally, my own journey has been somewhat of a struggle, and it took some time to ease into. So before breastfeeding, I thought that it would be super easy. I spoke to mamas, I watched videos, I watched movies, I did a ton of research online, but nothing really prepared me for the difficulty, the sleepless nights, the pain, the soreness, the bleeding that all came with the first few weeks of breastfeeding. So because of my experience, I'm here to talk about breastfeeding essentials and what basically helped me in this journey that I've been going through. So first and foremost is the importance of a good latch. I personally enlisted the help of a lactation consultant who came over to the apartment just to assess whether I was breastfeeding correctly. I can definitely tell you, so worth it. You can also ask the nurses to guide you whether you're giving birth in the public or the private system. I believe that the MCHC, which is the maternal care unit in the public system here in Hong Kong, have a special section on breastfeeding. So I would highly encourage you to make use of that free information and that free help. Secondly, nipple cream, balm, oil, ointment, whatever you call it. Super important. Personally, I requested for the Lenzino brand on my registry, so this is what I requested for, but when I tried it, I didn't really care too much for it only because the texture was rather thick. Additionally, I had friends who gifted me nipple cream and nipple balms, and I tried them all. I really like the ones where you don't have to wipe it off before you nurse your baby, only because it takes so much more time. So I tried other products in the market, most notably the Earth Mama Organic Nipple Butter, which I feel is great. I actually really like this, but I can tell you that my favorite is actually a product that was given to me by a friend. So it's under the Lenzino brand as well, but it's called the Organic Nipple Balm, which I have here. I love this. I'm on my third bottle. I religiously slather this on day and night. Currently, it's not available in stores in Hong Kong, so I do have to purchase these off Amazon. If you do see this in Hong Kong, let me know. All right, next. Another item that I've been using day and night for the past 3 months are breast pads. So I've tried brands from Pigeon, from Nook, from Lenzino, and I can definitely tell you that depending on your letdown or depending on how much you leak, especially in the early days of breastfeeding, I would stick to a brand that has the right thickness and consistency. So for heavy leakage, I would definitely recommend the brand from Nook, only because it's thick and I feel that it helps to control my leakage. I've also used the brand from Lenzino, which I think is great as well. I find it to be a little bit more thinner, but one of the things I really like is the fact that when you open this, it actually helps open really easily. I mean, first world problems, but yeah. Also worth mentioning, reusable breast pads. So I got these off a friend, and I believe these are the Apple Cheeks reusable breast pads that were purchased off Petit Tipi, which is an online Hong Kong organic-based store. Honestly, I'm still getting used to this, and it's taken some time to ease into, but I'm really hoping to make the change only because it's so much better for the environment. Also, I would definitely recommend buying more than a few pairs because I feel that with reusable breast pads, you will definitely need to change more often just for hygienic purposes. All right, next on the list, a good nursing bra. I have a couple of pairs that I purchased in Hong Kong, and I also have a couple that were given to me by family in the Philippines. Disclaimer, if you're in the Philippines, you should definitely know that that is baby heaven. I live in Hong Kong, but I have been asking my parents, my family, to send me a ton of items from the Philippines only because it's so cheap and there are a ton of options you can choose from. So I actually have a couple of pairs that were purchased from the Philippines. I also have several pairs of bras that are used exclusively for pumping. It makes a really good hands-free experience. And speaking of pumping, next on the list is a good breast pump. I am not going to spend too much time talking about this because I feel a separate vlog on breast pumping would be more helpful, but I personally use the Spectra Electric Double Pump, which looks like this. I mean, it gets the job done. I've heard a ton about other items in the market, but I'm really happy with the one that I have. Okay, so another thing worth mentioning is what to do with letdown. So if you're like me and you have a very strong letdown, I would highly suggest using and capturing that with a haka. So I got this from a family member and I can definitely tell you it's been super helpful. So this was given to me by my sister and it's actually really helpful. So I kind of like put it on one side when I'm nursing, and then when I switch, I put it on the other side. Okay, next. A good breastfeeding shawl or a cover. So I got this cover from a friend and I can tell you that it's still taken some time to get used to, only because my son does not like feeding under a cover. So to those who've never used a breastfeeding cover before, they're actually very easy to use. I would just flick it over my head, and I really like the fact that it's got these metallic rods that allow you to look at your baby when you're nursing and also allow your baby to breathe. Personally, if you don't want to spend for a breastfeeding cover, or if you don't have one, I would highly recommend using one of your baby's muslin blankets as a cover when feeding in public. I would also recommend using something like a shawl. So I have this that was gifted to me by my mother, and when I'm out in public, I mean, it's pretty stylish. It's a simple, sleek color, but when I'm out in public, I just put that on and I put my baby underneath and I nurse him discreetly, and it really does the job just fine. All right, so those were my breastfeeding essentials. However, I think it's worth mentioning a couple more items that have helped me in the early days of my breastfeeding journey. All right, firstly, Silverettes. These were gifted to me by a friend and are made out of pure silver. They're used to heal and protect while breastfeeding. I personally used to store these in the fridge, and right after nursing, I would apply them under my breast pads, and it would really help to heal. I believe you can purchase these off Petit Tibi. All right, secondly, thermal packs. So I purchased these off the brand Lenzino. I mean, I could be Lenzino's spokesperson. I've been using a ton of their products. So this is the TheraPearl thermal pack that can be used as either a heat pack or an ice pack. So these thermal packs helped a lot, and I really like the fact that it came in its own cover. So when you purchase this, it actually comes in a pack of 2, and you can chuck them in the fridge, the freezer, or you can actually heat them up in a microwave. I really like that the pack and the casing is shaped to mimic the outer area of the breast. So when you apply it, it actually looks just something like this. Okay, next on the list is a good massager. So this was actually a gift given by my sister, and funny enough, when I attended antenatal classes a couple months ago, one of the suggestions for clogged ducts was to use a massager around the breast area. I figured, hey, I have this laying around the house, why not just use it? And what do you know, it helped. It helped so much. In terms of supplements, I have been taking moringa, which is also known as malunggay to you Filipinos out there. And then of course, it's the food you eat and the rest you're taking. I mean, it's difficult, especially in the early days of motherhood, but it's so important to just take care of yourself, whether it's in the form of quick meditation, some wellness activities, self-care. So important, because stress leads to a decrease in your supply. All right, so I really hope you found this helpful. I know I did. A lot of the items I mentioned really helped me in the early days of breastfeeding. So to me, breastfeeding is so challenging, it's so personal, and yet it's just so rewarding. So I hope you all found this useful, and I look forward to sharing more with you on my next vlogs. Bye guys!